Hey everybody, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to my favorite series of the week, Transformation Talk, with my one and only co-hostess with the mostest, Donna Morton Morgan. She's with Inner Vibes Consulting, which you can find on Facebook and social media. She'll tell you all of the other things that she does, which are absolutely amazing. And we have a very special guest, attorney Beryl McCleary, but she's just Beryl McCleary to me. She's Mrs. Senior America, Florida. She has all of these amazing accolades, but she has a fantastic, transformative story that she's going to share with you today. And it's a blessing to have you both on here. How are you?
Hi, I'm well. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's just a pure delight to see you, Ted, again. And to meet Donna, my first encounter with you.
Oh, yes. Well, Donna, thank you. And it's so good to see you, too. It's always such a pleasant surprise. Orlando's a small town, y'all. So if you think you're not connected, you are 1,000% connected, one or two people. Donna, tell us a little bit about you and what you do, and then I'll let you give a fantastic introduction to Beryl.
Sure. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Donna Morton Morgan, and I am a real estate broker. I am the president of Caribbean American Diaspora, president of Women of Culture Incorporated, where we support families, moms, and children affected by incarceration for Second Chance. That's our tag. And life coach at Inner Vibes Consulting. And Transformation Talk it's not just one area, right? And now we're realizing there's so many different areas. Transformation could be in your health. It could be in your mindset. It could be in your emotions. It could be in your business, your relationships with family, relationship with yourself, your money, all these different, your weight loss, all these different journeys. We've had cancer, we've had sickle cell, lupus, and so it's always interesting to hear how individuals are transforming their lives, and for some, how they're reaching back and transforming others. So with that, we are so blessed to hear today from attorney Beryl McCleary, who's going to give us the 1, 2, 3 on transform. She probably not only transforming relationships, but that's our tag, but there's a few more things I know she's transforming. So welcome, attorney Beryl McCleary.
You're so gracious. Because of my age, you have an opportunity to change a bunch of things and transform. I'll be 66 in a couple of months. And just a side note,
I don't believe that. I just, it's unreal to me, Beryl. Really.
Well, thank you very kindly. But it's interesting, Ted, when I met you at Corporate Meredith, we had that interview. You didn't know I was just coming from the hospital. When I hobbled in.
Right. You had to hop in. I
actually ran or leapt from the vehicle to meet the interview. I had been in an auto accident, rear-ended by an F-150. And right prior, a couple of days before, and all of a sudden, that pain hit me that it almost brought me to my knees. And I was there at the hospital. It was a couple of days before, for 7 hours. And I'm like, I've got to make this interview. So I'm calling Anissa to see if it's still there. And I remember I was there and I was like, I need something for this pain. I've got to get off this pain. I got to get this pain. And as I tracked on, and you probably wonder, well, why did I do it anyway? Well, the cutoff for running for Miss Corporate America was age 65. I was a couple of months from 65. So that was it.
That's motivation.
There was no other choice. And got dressed in the restroom and ran in there and tried to get my bearings. Of course, I couldn't go.
You did phenomenal. I remember it well. It was a beautiful interview. Beautiful.
Well, thank you. We popped those pain pills, man, and kept on muscle relaxers and kept it moving. Perseverance. It's a delight to be here. Life has been adventurous. As you know, I'm married to Thomas McCleary, founder of the Commodores. We've been married starting about 31 years. We have a total of 7 children, 5 children. Believe it or not, I had 5 children in 6.5 years.
Woo!
Boy, I got married at 35, had my first child at 36, and had my twins at 42. Tell me I am not wrong.
I mean, every time I hear that story, I am still jaw to the ground. It's unbelievable.
I love it.
Yeah, and the reason why I do some things, even as corporate America and other things, because I see that there are young women, I feel, that need mentoring. As I look on TikTok and go through some of the videos, older and younger, particularly between the ages of 32 to 45, I see a trend. And so I see all these people giving advice on marriage. And then I see all these people getting divorced after giving all this advice on marriage. I'm like, have you made it over the 10-year mark? Have you married over the 15 mark? Have you made it over the 20-year mark? Tell me what you're going through. Have you made it through the challenges that, regardless of your partnership, that life presents? And life presents all kinds of challenges. So what do we do about that? How do we survive it? I mean, that's part of life. That's not going anywhere. And they're the solution for it all. My most recent venture has been with my husband. As you know, we work together.
He's such a sweet man. Just a very sweet man.
He's a very good man. He's a very, very good man. Indeed he is. And as I talk about relationships, from my experience as an attorney who deals a lot with family law, the first thing I always tell everyone is that you have to marry the right one or partner with the right one. I mean, it helps. I mean, it
That's
helps.
important.
I mean, you need to kind of look at your selections there. Might be, can't do much about that now. But let's assume you're in a relationship, a marriage relationship, and I'm going to stick with mine because I'm a Christian, marriage relationship, and you become stuck. All relationships become stuck with time.
Right.
Do we dissolve it? Is that the solution? And we're assuming these are relationships that without drama. When I say without drama, there's no physical abuse, sexual violence, emotional abuse, and etc. You know, right? Those are special issues. And I'm no therapist, so I haven't had any special training, but based on what I've seen and what I've experienced, I got very concerned about some of the couples that were coming through my office, particularly professionals. And so quick, they'll call it off.
Yeah.
Or you have children. And it's unnatural to have every other weekend or rotating weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's unnatural. And I say that because I came from a two-parent background. I don't remember any stepchildren. I have stepchildren. Mm-hmm. My husband did too. And to put a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, 3-year-old to rotating weeks, to put them through different relationships. And again, I had the caveat, we're not talking about extreme personality or circumstances where there is deserving of you leaving or them leaving. Okay, I used to be a domestic violence expert way back in late 90s. I understand that. So my concern was, what are we teaching our children? Mm. Is it stability? Is it to accept in the middle of a journey to give up because we disagree, but we don't know how to disagree without being disagreeable? And my husband and I have taken it upon ourselves to start the relationship series. And I could go on about how you keep your weight down at this age and all that kind of stuff. I'll be glad to tell you all about that too, because I was at one point 180 pounds, but I always tell everyone, be gracious to yourself. Give yourself some grace.
Amen.
Yes.
Yeah, give yourself some grace. I tell the young women, okay, you gained some weight. You've had 2 or 3 babies. All right, you're 40-some years old. Girl, do not starve. I got to 180, 85. You can't do it all. You cannot do it all. Be gracious to yourself. But eventually, they grow up. And that's when you move forward. So understanding the seasons of life and the changes of life. And that also applies in our relationships when they've been for a period of time. You are not the person you were when you started dating and when you first got married.
Exactly.
Everybody saw the best of you, and he showed you the best of him. And then, oh my gosh, things start to change. And those things are when you think they start to change, right? And those things that you might have been attracted to, like, oh, is that person getting on my nerves? It was opposite. All right, it used to be, he compliments me. She compliments me. Well, the men are a little different. She compliments me because their focus is on sex. Until you get a little older, it's about respect, I was told in our seminars. And so as important factors, we're laughing about it, but to remember that. Mm-hmm. And so here we are, we're down the journey some. And I've seen the results of that journey taking too many partners. One, either you're choosing the wrong one, or two, we don't know how to go through the struggle, assuming both parties want to stay together. Right. One wants to go, I say release them. You can't make a person be married.
Exactly.
You can't change a person. You can't make that person into what you want them to be. That's the second point. Don't marry the right one. When you got somebody who wants to stay to them, you want to stay married. That'd be mutual. It's a contract. You're not going to change anybody.
That's right.
What you see is what you got. I always tell someone, I said, once they show you who they are the first time, believe them.
That's right.
Believe them. You don't change anyone. But strikingly, they're not going to change you either. So it's indeed mutual.
Right.
All right.
I love that you pointed out, Beryl, that because I feel like there is we live in we're immediate satisfaction and gratification. And so if the relationship isn't doing exactly what we want because reality TV and social media tell us that's how beautiful it's supposed to be, we give up, we change, we go, well, there has to be something different. I'm not getting that. So I must be in the wrong relationship or the wrong job or whatever it is. Is that what you're seeing too?
That's what I see. Or if not that, I remember one young lady says, I need to know, they're professionals, very professional. When did he leave the marriage? He was having lots of affairs, but he was also having affairs when they were dating in college. So when did you leave the marriage? What made you leave that relationship? We have a friend who's been married 6 times and is now considering a 7th time. I said, Thomas, tell him no. The only thing that's in common with all these marriages is what? Is him.
Common denominator. That's right.
So there's something that we need to deal with. We get to see our good friend with a big smile very, very soon. And there's some other problems with that. As you get older, I've seen a lot of gray marriages. I mean, gray divorces. I was fortunate to capitalize economically off of gray divorces. These are divorces that people have been long-term, 25, 30, 35 years, on and on. Marriages that dissolve between the ages of 55 and above. I've done divorces for a person as old as 82 years of age.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. And then someone said they did a divorce for someone who was 91. He found a 51-year-old and left his wife. I thought you men stopped thinking that way sometimes.
Well,
I thought y'all stopped thinking.
The answer to that's no, but
Really?
but the 91.
91, married 50-something. And I maintain, you know why? They got too many options for you men sexually now. All right. They have way too many options. And I think that they think that these options are like for real. You cut the heart open, man, you're still 91. That's my thing. They should take all these new devices and all these new medications and put them away. And he would have known he was only 91 years of age. You know,
Totally.
Would you agree, Ted?
It's true. It's absolutely true. It's even in our society today, men still get off is the only way I can say, but men still have the opportunities that I feel like they take because they're just thrown out there. Men can father children so much later on. Yes. And there's just this, again, it's this whole crazy societal thing that people watch on TV, all of the inventions you were talking about, the drugs you're talking about. And they're like, well, something's got to be better. I'm bored in my 30-year relationship. Mm-hmm. Well, dude, I talk to guys about this all the time. Men in general do have a problem with extracurriculars, so to speak.
Is that extramarital or extra relationship? Is that
all of the above?
All of the above.
I always ask them, like, what are you looking for? Like, do you think if you do this that your relationship isn't going to end? And why do you want to live with the secrets, and why do you want to do that to the person that
Right.
you've loved for the last X amount of years? We could do a whole show
Right.
on dudes being dumb. I mean, literally, a whole series on men being idiots.
I love the name.
Are dudes
Well, we're
being
going to get a man on here so they can really talk about him.
I can talk to it. Just
are you
it's
married?
just fascinating. I am 32 years.
Okay, see right there. All right.
32
Yes,
years.
32
So,
years.
but is it hard? Yes, it's still work. Like it's still
Right.
you're still living, eating, breathing with another human being all the time. And
Yes.
you know, it doesn't matter. You are still an individual, and your soul, your person is an individual, and it just is a challenge. But it's not an insurmountable challenge, because I'm not an immediate satisfaction, gratification kind of person. I didn't grow up that way.
Mhm.
But yeah, we could do a whole dudes are dumb show, because it just
We're talking about transformation. Is trying to change the mindset of people.
Yes.
Exactly what you're talking about, our couples. Is
Yes.
that it is not like there was a video my husband and I did, and shout out, you all go to my Instagram, the McClarys, and follow us. All right, so here we are. We're laughing. If you look at some of the video clips, my daughter had to take so many clips, particularly the one where we were trying to dance. And finally, she was trying to show us the steps and blah, blah, blah. My husband's funny. He just started playing around. He's like, I'm not even trying to remember it. But she did all of these edits and cut and paste. So nothing you see is for real was a one shot. She took several shots, gave up on us, and cut and paste. And I believe that relationships now, and those looking at TikTok and Instagram, honestly are believing what you see.
yes.
Instead of understanding, baby, this is an edit. This is not real. This is not real life. But then let's go ahead and talk about some solutions too.
Before we go there, Beryl, so think about what you said also earlier.
Yes, ma'am.
The right person. So I think even before people get caught up in getting married, they're not really choosing right people. And then so we have kids with the wrong person. And then, like you said, now you've got the rotation, but because it's so norm, hey, that's no big deal. But yeah, the children are having, dealing with the consequences of that. So how could you do the prevention? What tips would you, before they got that far, that man and woman, we understand now that people are not looking at character of individuals. They're just looking at the exterior. She's cute, he's handsome, he's that, and people have like forgotten what kind of person is this person. And
it's a very good question.
Lost our way there.
You're absolutely right. And it's a very good question. What do we do? Well, first of all, I would tell them, you have to take time to listen. I said, you can't tell me he or she didn't say something that made you think twice.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me. Now, when you're very young, particularly if you're growing up in any household of any religion that teaches abstinence and is very constrictive, and these guys know how to find an innocent girl. Mm-hmm. But it is up to me as a mother to teach you these are the ways of a wolf, because they are predators. And to teach my sons, I don't care how pretty she is. I don't care how curly her hair is. I don't care how fine she is, how round her butt is. If she's crazy when she is in first grade and she's got all those letters on her name, she will still be crazy at 23 with all those letters on her name while she's being cute. So it's two ways. Okay? If she's doing it, she can be dangerous and completely destroy your life. Or he can. So it's two ways. Mm-hmm. Don't let us think that it's one way. It's the man only. Because I've got so many children, 3 and 3. I have a whole bunch of lessons. I said, so listen, watch, and don't excuse. Mm-hmm. And I give them examples because I was a criminal defense attorney for a long time, and I still am somewhere. I'm a trial attorney. Look at the following. If that young lady tells you, pretty as she is, she might have been, her anger goes up. She switches personalities on you. You don't know what to expect. Now, that might be exciting in bed, right offhand, but in real life, that's problematic.
Right. So true.
And I tell them, run. I mean, I give them real life because I was criminal defense. I don't have to be a criminal, but I listen well.
Right.
For my girls, I would tell them, watch, is he squeezing your arm too hard? He's abusive. And he's smiling. Is he asking you too many questions? Where you been? I tried to call you. No, he's asking too many questions. Keep your eye out for him. In fact, you need to go. Is he over there in your space all the time? All the time. And you're busy, a professional student. I had to tell a student that. That's not good. He's keeping the cage. So for our young women, they don't know the signs. And secondly, the music makes it acceptable for unacceptable conduct. Several years ago, when I used to do a domestic violence series, a young lady professional would not give me her name. She was crying. She said, is it okay for him to slap me? I let him slap me. I said, slap? Not without a bat in my hand. Why is it acceptable, or you would think it's acceptable for somebody to hurt you, or for a woman to hurt you? Because they do. Look on there. They do.
Right. We
have allowed what is normal to be redefined. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable for you to give him money. It's not acceptable for her to be asking you for money. It's not acceptable for you not to open the door for me, because I'm the queen. Right. But you don't have to keep saying you are a queen. They have queenly ways, that queenly mindset. I hear this all the time. I'm a queen, but where are your ethics?
Right.
Where are the lines you draw? What are the words of your mouth? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just good to be quiet. That's why it's just good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. One young lady I watched in a divorce, and she was losing her husband to someone. I saw the young lady, and I just wanted to tell her, you talk too much.
Yeah.
You don't have to pop your finger. You don't have to make a point. You don't have to give your opinion. The tone of your voice.
Yeah.
It's okay to be the queen and be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't take words back.
Right.
He said something that make you mad. It just cannot say anything and everything. So important with those. And of course, that lack of communication. But back to that, answering your questions, listening, and if there's a tweak in your gut, it will save your life. And that's what I tell them. I gave my girls this example many years ago. I went to the University of Florida and studying for the bar exam. And this is an example I was telling my girls. I said, when you go out, listen to your gut. Don't ignore it. It will save your life, even if you can't hear my words. And I tell them these things so you can hear my words with wisdom. We are so far off of transformation of marriages. But anyway, in that relationship, I remember I was studying for the bar, and I met a guy who was studying for his medical license exam in the library. We were at the University of Florida, the library there. I was studying for my bar exam. Chatted, he had a Jaguar, seemed to be a nice guy. He was studying for his exams too. He picked me up, didn't know anything about him much other than he was a student. He genuinely was. And we went out to dinner in a restaurant right outside of the city of Gainesville, not very far, probably built up around there now. I went to the University of Florida. And we had to wait, and we had to sit in the bar. And I remember having my mini skirt. This is way back, probably 82. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what he said. I can't remember to this day. But I do remember getting up. I didn't date a whole lot. And telling him I was going to the restroom and I'll be back. Can't remember what he said, but I remember something went off in me. I did not come from an abusive background either. Mm. No, my parents, we were just regular Americans, just pretty boring. Everybody would work. We had a big, no real drama. And I remember I hitchhiked a couple, and they were scared. I said, please give me a ride. Back to my door. Didn't know. And I started to run back. I found out many months ago that he had been arrested. We had taken this girl out and beat her up. I didn't know. But I listened to the Holy Ghost, or the gut within me, that I had to leave. I have no idea. I've never kissed this man. I've never gone to bed with this man. I only met him in the library. I was in the middle school library. What's the moral of the story? Yes. Listen to your gut and run. Don't be polite. Don't be polite.
We don't run. I love that. I know you both have experienced that. Then you walk into a room and I immediately, like, my spirit, whatever your beliefs are, you get the heebie-jeebies. I can feel it when someone is off. And I just have learned, like you learned young, I've learned over time to really just go with that, listen to it, and avoid that conversation, any kind of discussion, being around that person. Kudos to you, because I think a lot of young women and men need to hear that. People need to hear that and listen to it, because
and those are wonderful tips about transforming relationships, because, you know, again, the preventative is always better, and understanding that wisdom before you go into the relationship, because most people ignore the gut.
That's exactly right. I just gotta get somebody. I just got to, girl, please. And he comes and takes all your money.
Or worse. I mean, it's just, I've seen it. I do a lot of work with Harbor House. And so just the stories that the women and men have told, it is not listening, and staying and not paying attention to the signs until it is either too late or it has damaged your life and the life of your kids. So I love the prevention discussion on this, because I think we spend so much time trying to figure out what to do once we've jumped in, that those tools are just a beautiful example of what young people can do, or anybody who's getting into that beginning of a relationship. Beryl,
we do have an inner, you know, my business is called Inner Vibes, and it's because of that. Vibes don't lie. We just ignore it. And if we do begin to just see, you know, how do you feel around that person? Are you stressed out, you know, all the time? Or does that person bring peace and zen to your life? So we just have to take the time. And because trust me, if you felt the anxiety, stressful feeling early, and you still go forward, oh, because he's this, or, you know, he or she is, you know, known in the community or have such money or connections, all these things we ignore, and then we get into that situation. And so that's the part, I think, what's happening especially in our microwave community that we have now. Everybody's just jumping with individuals, not getting to know them, not even understanding, like, how, you know, the tips like that about paying attention to your gut, the intuition. I think we've completely ignored that now. So these are wonderful tips that you present to us today, because it can definitely transform. So you're in the relationship now, you ignored all the red flags. Now,
a small with red flags. And the one thing that I do is I'm a pragmatist. And I try to give real advice based on what I've either lived through, seen. Not the ethereal, not just principles or teachings that I can memorize and give you. Fortunately, I practice many areas of law. Fortunately, while having my own children, I understand about step parenting and blended families. I didn't grow up with that, but I understand it having lived it. So it says, walking those waters. The great thing about getting older, experience little things.
Right.
You can check out what you have accomplished by your wins or lack thereof and the changes. But some of the abuse that we suffer, we don't have to. It could be because of conditioning. The next thing is to make a decision. I am enough. Go to life does not exist. No matter how wonderful my husband is, there are challenges. We are different people, very different people. How do you live with different people? You pay a lot of things, no mind. When you get in, you just pay in that right chair.
That's right.
You pay a lot of stuff, no mind. As he says, yes, dear.
Yes, dear. Yes, dear. That's my wife's least favorite thing I ever say. Yes, dear.
As we do, I tell them it's no different than being at a job. But I remember when I was younger, I used to pray for wisdom. I used to go through Proverbs. And I was willing to let things go if it wasn't right. I knew God to become all my life, but then a strong Christian until after law school. But I remember I was always drawn to the scriptures about wisdom. And all you're getting, get wisdom. And with wisdom, get understanding, which is insight. I've always tended to be kind of serious. So my husband is the fun side, which, I'm like, when we having fun? Well, we got things to do. I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So probably going with Miss Corporate America, Miss Senior America Florida was to branch out, do something different during COVID. Not going to stay in the box. But very important, and I tell them, God wants you to have a good relationship. We want you to have a relationship where you smile at each other. And I talk about that as you continue a relationship. Like you said, does he or she make you smile? I say all the time, we're individuals. I talk about that too. The two shall become one. Yeah, we one sometimes. They're not that we just two. We're still two individuals. We talk about individualism and respecting individualism. It takes a minute to respect individualism. But in the whole scheme of things, we're still one. In the whole scheme of things, that is, I'm not going to do anything to hurt you. I'm not going to do anything to harm you. I'm not going to do anything to bring this house down or goes down. But we're not going to eat the same thing. Right. We're not going to choose the same thing, different pieces of furniture. I mean, we're two individuals on how we do it. I'm not going out there to play golf. I did go out there to play golf. I did compromise. You can see pictures of me. I went there and went to sleep. I slid down the car. I'm like,
understandable.
Okay, 18 holes is just way too much for me. But if that's what you want for your birthday, this is what you get. So I've got my glasses on, my sunglasses on, but I'm here though. And it's just not gonna. That kind of thing. Compromise with that and learning about the compromises of life without totally giving yourself. And the transformation is, does that person make you smile or happy, or are you always having to be in a box to appease them because or make them happy or get their approval, or you're doing all the talking and they are not, and they're always frowning? My position, if you don't smile, I don't need you. I don't need anybody to bring grief in my life. And I'm not a jester. I'm not here to I'm your puppet, make it man. It's right. You smile. But the relationship should be easy. And in our relationships, I would tell a young person or any person, an older woman who wants to get married, who's like, I've been so married, I don't want to die all by myself, all this kind of thing. And then you want to get rid of them. And you should get rid of them, more likely. But regardless of where you stand, friendship is the basis for relationships.
Amen.
And then for me, faith. And we teach relationships that are fun.
Yes.
Our position is joy. Yes. A marriage without joy is bad business.
Right.
So we teach about joy, which is a journey of you that transforms to the journey of us. Because being married, our relationship is a journey. But don't forget to laugh, because laughter helps soften.
Yes.
I think that's why I'm still around. My wife finds me funny.
That's exactly right. And change the subject. Literally. And by that time, we forgot what we were mad about. Everybody's still doing what they're doing.
100%.
Yes.
I know how to redirect with laughter. We need to have Beryl back on if she'll give us the honor of that Donna, because I could listen to you speak about that. I think these topics and this discussion is so critical, especially now in this day and age. It is just truly so critical, and we're not talking enough about it. We're shining over it. We're pretending it doesn't happen. We're giving people the ability to check out whenever they want, and there's no real circumstances to that. There's no real repercussions or consequences. And so I would love to invite you back on Beryl. But as we close, tell them the best way they can find out more about Beryl McCleary.
Well, I want you to go to Instagram. And Instagram, there you will find the McClearys and follow us. You'll see a bunch of cute little vignettes of Thomas and I as we start this journey of relationships. If you need the law, you go to my website, Beryl Thompson McCleary, attorney at law. And if you need entertainment from, oh, wait a minute, a little up there, because we just left Lionel on the other night. They were at Lionel in Tampa. Understand that Thomas is still performing, so we love that too. So if not, Beryl McCleary, so glad to meet you. So glad to be here. And until we meet again.
Till we meet again. All right, Donna, we know we can reach you at Inner Vibes Consulting on Facebook and all over social media. What a blessing you both are. Beryl, thank you so much for sharing your heart, soul, and spirit with us today. Really, really great words of wisdom. I thought a lot about everything while you were talking, and I know everyone else will too. So thank you.
We definitely need another forum and with young ladies and middle age and older, because wisdom.
Yeah.
All you're getting, get what? Get wisdom. And with wisdom, get what? Understanding.
And with that, we'll see you guys soon on Transformation Talk. Thank you both.
Bye-bye.
Be back next week. Bye-bye.